Joining me this morning is the man in the middle of it all, Dr. Subramanian Swamy. Good morning to you, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, and congratulations for leading a huge campaign where 1 billion people raised their voice. And I want to ask you, what does this tell us about 1 billion people coming together, demanding justice? Isn't this the people's power?
Before I begin, I have to thank Ishkaran. I mean, he worked very hard for me, and I'm very pleased that much of the technical work and the organization he is responsible. So you will, I'm sure, be having on your channel. So let me first thank him and then say, this reminds me of the emergency and the defeat of Mrs. Gandhi by the masses of the poorest area of India. I was told only democracy is relished by rich people or educated people. But the whole of the South, which is much more educated, voted for Mrs. Gandhi. It is the poor masses of UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, Himachal that voted out Mrs. Gandhi by completely wiping it out. So the same way today I see the soul of India is alive. And the public has risen, which gave us a lot of encouragement. And we also got a lot of, nobody can threaten us, but there were a lot of people discouraging me. Why, when you have such noble causes fighting, why you want to fight for a film star? I said, it's not that, it's the conspiracy that anybody's life can be taken at will. That is what we are trying to demolish forever.
And that is why people of India really came together, Dr. Swamy, because it touched a raw nerve. It could be anybody tomorrow from a small town in Bihar, in Uttar Pradesh, in Punjab, in Himachal, as you said, or even in Karnataka or Tamil Nadu, who could come to a big town, try his luck, and then his life would be snuffed out in this manner. Nobody would hear his family's plea when they said that his life was in danger. And the next thing you know, the case is closed in an alleged suicide. And I want to ask you, Dr. Swamy, the Supreme Court's verdict itself, what does this mean for the Mumbai police and the investigations that it carried out?
A complete restructuring. Those who are IPS, the center can directly take action. Those who have a very short time left for retiring, they should be retired right away and then later on prosecuted if they have been complicit. You see, look at this thing that is unbelievable. The body of Sushant is discovered, and the police is informed, and they are making within a short time a statement that is due to suicide. How can a police make that statement? If it is suicide, then it is required under criminal law for you to register FIR. You don't for 65 days. I mean, I think this police belongs to Bollywood. It doesn't belong to the people of India. And therefore, we must have a complete revamp of Bombay Police so that such things don't happen in the future.
Dr. Swamy, what would you say about the police chief who himself has been defending the investigations? In the name of investigations, all we got was a botch-up. What we also know is that Rhea Chakraborty put out a statement yesterday. She defended not just the investigation so far, but also the political establishment. What does that prove, sir?
Well, they're all in together. They are a big conspiracy. They are conspirators in tandem, and therefore they can sink together. I don't mind, or they will sink separately. But one of the two things will definitely happen. She has, in fact, helped you by showing that there is a conspiracy, and whatever our statements are, as Vikas Singh has very correctly said, we have got material to take it forward, and Vikas Singh is one of our very competent and senior lawyers, and I'm sure that this will be taken to its final conclusion. And of course, from outside, I'll watch it, although as a person who loves law, I'm itching, but I will not get into this, but I will do it from outside, create the environment, just as you people are doing it in times now.
Dr. Swamy, I also want to ask you, did you find it surprising that Rhea Chakraborty's transfer plea was virtually backed up by the Maharashtra government's plea? It wasn't a separate plea. The prayer was not separate. It joined hands with somebody who had been accused, even not, if not in Maharashtra, but in a Bihar FIR. Do you find that strange? Does that happen often in criminal cases?
When you are in fear, you do all these kinds of foolish things. You see, that's one of the things we look for. You know that you were quoted one of my tweets where I said this is Waterloo and Watergate, both for the Maharashtra government. And I can tell you that Maharashtra government has become untenable. Unless they make a clean breast of it, there will be always a suspicion about it. Just as the people of Bihar are an uprising, people of Maharashtra are very, they are Shivaji land, they are Peshwa land, they have been big heroes, they have defeated many foreign enemies, including the caliphate in Sindh. So I think these brave Maharashtrians will not tolerate this, because there is Sushant was a young boy, very brilliant in his studies, comes here as a choice, not because he has no other option, and he becomes a star, and then you snuff him out and create all this nonsense about his being depressed, and he committed suicide. So I think the Bombay Police has a very big responsibility in this, and therefore they must be as harshly treated as the Maharashtra government. Maharashtra government has to be asked, why did you cover up for this? Why didn't you ask an FIR to be registered as per the criminal law? What was the Advocate General doing? Was he sleeping? They need a new Advocate General, if you ask me.
Dr. Swamy, you've also hinted about a conspiracy that you're working on. What is this conspiracy? Yes. Who all does it involve? Is it the police and the politician nexus with the film world, underworld? What is it that we are looking at?
Yeah, it is what is called as cartelization of Bombay, which has taken place. The rich people, the Bollywood, where money flows in black like water, and the police, which gets a cut for every crime, they look the other way. And but the more important disturbing fact is that all these three things require the help of the money launderers sitting in Dubai, and therefore, they are professional killers there. And we saw this in other murders, and I think in this murder also, from what I've seen, the way it has been done, it has fallen flat because of some silly steps that they took, including not breaking down the door or seeing that only when one dead body went out instead of two. All these snafus there's no such thing as a perfect crime, by the way, all over the world. And so I think the Maharashtra government will in fact, is already a rickety government. I don't think that the partners are in seeing eye to eye. And even on CBI, they have not been seeing eye to eye. So therefore, I think the center has a responsibility under not Article 356. 356 means dismissal. I want 256. A direction to be given to the Maharashtra government to explain its conduct.
Dr. Subramanian Swamy, what could be the basic factors that could have led to the decision that we got from the CBI, from the Supreme Court today in favor of the CBI investigation? Technically, legally speaking, what do you think tilted the case?
Article 142. It gives enormously wide powers to the court to mold a relief which would be in keeping with the concept of justice. And justice is different from law. Justice is where you are, meeting the aspirations of the people in such a large number, where on the face of it, something wrong has happened and it has to be explored, and there has been a lot of cover-ups. And so the Supreme Court, the judge could have taken the stand. I am a single judge, I can't order CBI inquiry, but he has 142, and he has used 142. I congratulate the judge. I mean, I'm now no business to congratulate the judge, but I've never criticized the judge either. Even if they decide against my favor, I never criticize them. But I do think that in this climate, knowing all the stakes involved, the Supreme Court has risen in the eyes of the people as never before.
Dr. Swamy, are we now going to see a phase where people are going to come in and out of CBI offices, for statements, and are we really going to see some arrests happening? Because is there a theory that you're working on, or the CBI, which has already registered a case, is working on?
Yeah, CBI has registered a limited FIR that's arising from what happened in Patna. But now they will have a comprehensive FIR, and I have requested the PM in a letter that bring NIA in because of the Dubai factor. Let them at least tell us whether there was or was not a Dubai factor in the thing, because the killing seems to be too professional. And or of course it went awry because other people bumbled, but otherwise it was it was done in a very professional way. And somebody told me that there was some shotgun or stun gun or something like that. If that is so, then that's not possible for an Indian criminal. So it must have been imported. So therefore, I think the CBI is, I know them very well, and they have a huge building. They can accommodate to thousands of people for interviews and put them in a queue. They're not a problem. They have a sufficiently large staff. Some of them are very good, and all those who were there were weeded out when the snafus took place about the coal allocation and so on. So now we have a strong team, and that strong team in the CBI will definitely do a thorough job, because now their reputation is at stake, just as the Supreme Court felt that the whole country is looking to them and they must render justice.
Dr. Swamy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I just, before I let you go, just want to ask you a personal question. For a lawyer like yourself, who has so many cases behind you and so many causes that you've picked up, a verdict like this, do you look at it as a legal victory, or do you get emotional about it at any point?
It is an emotional victory, because I know the pressures on judges. And political pressures, judges will not admit, but I do know that their personal lives are investigated by the intelligence in various states and even in the center. And they have to do it anyway, because in the name of security, we all get investigated by intelligence. I mean, they keep records. And then there have been in the past, I know judges who have paid a heavy price. For example, H.R. Khanna, who took that stand against the snuffing out of the right to life in the Supreme Court judgment, which crumbled under Mrs. Gandhi's pressure. And he had to forego his chief justiceship. And then he were to, the subsequent government, Janata and other governments never paid any attention. I think that there should be a statue of H.R. Khanna facing the Supreme Court. But we don't remember the heroes. And the people who really stuck their neck out. And I think this is the time when I think the Supreme Court should get whatever it wants, because it has proved over and over again that when the time is required, they do deliver justice. And so the Supreme Court is suffering for lack of funds, lack of space, so many things. And the number of court cases they take is 200 per day, each judge. And the United States Supreme Court takes 200 cases per year. And therefore, I think, this weight, this heavy weight, and then this pressure, I think the retirement age is too young. I mean, it was decided when our mortality rate was very high, but now people are living to 100. Our Attorney General is 90. You see, Mr. K.K. Venugopal. And functioning, Parasaran is 92 or 93. And so now judges are living for, why waste all this talent? Find some way. There's a shortage of judges. Don't retire them so fast. If you think that somebody will lose his turn to become Chief Justice, then make it rotational Chief Justice position. But
Yes.
these judges...
It's time to think about the judges too. You're absolutely
Yes.
right. You're absolutely right. But Dr. Swamy, thank you very much for joining me here on Times Now. Thank you for raising this campaign for the people, of the people, by the people of India. And that's what democracy is all about. That's what institutions like the Supreme Court are all about. And Dr. Swamy, for somebody like you, your wife, I understand, is battling COVID and is in hospital. So all the best. May she recover soon. And
she's a good recover. It was a timely thing, and the Apollo Hospital is doing very well about it.
Well, but for you to give all your time to this case, clearly people of India appreciate, acknowledge, and thank you.
My wife should get the credit, not me. She's left me alone. She said, "Do this, or come to see me."
Well, yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Swamy, for joining us here on Times Now and giving a voice, a legal voice to the campaign that we ran here. Names were called, our intentions were questioned, but as always, we continued asking the questions, demanding justice. And today, Maharashtra government and the Mumbai police really need to be accountable to the people of India, because their faith was destroyed and the Supreme Court recognized it. And that is what is justice for the people. Thank you, Dr. Swamy. Going across